syndrome or a crisis of confidence. Those women with our hands up, these experiences have negatively impacted our careers.
We've spent thousands of hours mentoring women and hundreds more as part of Powrsuit. We know that organisations with diverse leadership outperform on virtually every business measure. Yet, 50% of women don't feel supported by their organisation, 70% are afraid to fail, and 90% of women have experienced imposter syndrome or a crisis of confidence.
Take Carla, a Powrsuiter. Carla has 10 years of experience and backs herself to take on new challenges. Last year, she stepped into her first people leadership role. She's figuring out how to manage and motivate a team. She's also balancing her technical expertise with her new leadership responsibilities. Carla looks like she's succeeding, but she's overwhelmed and feels like she's failing. Working overtime to compensate, Carla's on the verge of burning out.
Women don't need fixing. We need a playbook. We need more women like Carla in positions of power and influence, not opting out. And we're Nat and Kristen. We're exited founders. Together, we built a tech platform that changed the investing behaviour of almost 200,000 New Zealanders. In 2021, we sold Hatch for $40 million, 4 years, 4 years post-launch. And we've spent the last decade building the leadership playbook for women on the way up.
With a focus on skills that make men successful, professional development isn't solving the unique challenges women face in the workplace. Those that are exclusive by design, costing tens of thousands. They're reserved for women at the top. Case in point, last year in the US, organizations invested $26 billion in women's professional development, but 80 cents for every dollar went to senior positions. More inclusive options are community-based. They're time-intensive and burn women organizers out.
Successful women we've spoken to almost universally point to 3 critical tools: a peer network, tailored learning, and advice. With Powrsuit, our smart peer group matching brings together personalised challenge cohorts. Challenge cohorts tackle blockers and build critical leadership skills as a group through bite-sized learning, accountability, and support.
After 6 months of research, we've discovered 6 career styles that women can inhabit at any given time, each with unique learning and support needs. Remember Carla? She's a scout. She needs help delegating, setting boundaries, and she also needs help building a high-performing team. Carla is matched with the right challenge cohort, and through small habit-forming actions, she's building new skills and confidence, making leadership a daily practice.
We've already built a community of almost 4,000 women across multiple channels. We've proven impact through our weekly newsletter, and our podcast audience is growing with over 5,000 downloads. And organisations are willing to invest in women on the way up. At $800 a head, our initial in-person challenge cohorts have almost sold out. Soon, we'll move to building the smallest, most scalable SaaS solution. This will be priced affordably for any professional woman who wants to invest in herself. However, our go-to-market strategy taps into professional development budgets.
In a post-COVID world, burnout is at all-time highs, and women are bearing the brunt. Thankfully, organizations for the first time recognize that diversity works and want to fix their leaky pipelines. We're focused on the countries just like New Zealand that are ready and willing to solve the unique challenges facing women. Of the 23 million professional women in these countries, we want to get the 5 million that will use Powrsuit today.
Digital coaching solutions are making it possible to deliver behaviour change at scale, supporting mental health, productivity, fitness, and even sleep. And the market is growing rapidly. As with Hatch, we're tapping into an emerging trend at its infancy.
We know how to build a loved brand and a high-performing team. We have deep product, growth, and behavior change expertise, Powrsuit is uniquely positioned to take a Silicon Valley approach to support women at scale.
Imagine walking into a department store, feeling excited to find your next perfume or cologne. You walk in, you see hundreds of different options in front of you, and you start to panic. You're pounced on by an enthusiastic sales assistant who shoves lots of different options in front of your face, and your nose stops working. And finally, you leave the store having paid a small fortune for something you're not even sure you really like, that will probably sit unopened on a bathroom shelf somewhere for a really long time. Sound familiar? Buying fragrance for yourself and for others stinks. There's thousands of different options available both in-store and online. Researching online is a really difficult process to navigate. It's really hard to narrow down all of that information. And if you do find something you like, it's impossible to try before you buy, which increases the risk to customers dramatically. Then when you walk into a store, how do you describe to the sales assistant what you might like to try? Do you say, look, just give me all your vanilla options? Or maybe just, I want something my wife will like. Fragrance is a really expensive decision. It's about $250 a bottle, and it's often a decision made with limited information. In a recent study, 80% of consumers said buying fragrance is an incredibly difficult process for them to navigate. And often people just avoid this decision altogether by buying the same thing on repeat. So, we've developed a scent hack.
So, SpeakSense is an online platform providing AI-driven personalised fragrance recommendations and low-risk trials of scents from our own range made in France. All you need to do is answer a few short questions from our online quiz. We calculate your scent profile, and based on that profile, we recommend you a match from our range, plus 2 other options. You can receive these through a discovery kit, which minimises cost and risk, through a one-off purchase or a monthly subscription. Or you can buy a larger bottle once you've found your favourite scent. Soon, we'll have partnerships in place, so we'll be able to match you to existing products already out there in the market. Our technology and experience is powered by DeepScent, which is our proprietary technology that sits behind our platform. This technology has been built off the back of 70,000 scents, each scent having 300 attributes. This allows us to match customers to existing products out there in the market, as well as our own range. The quiz acts as a pre-screening tool that leads to personalised scent matches, or scent profiles, that's unique to each customer. And the discovery kit acts as a way for the customers to validate these scent profiles and provide us with feedback. We then use this feedback to continually improve and iterate through our models.
We're seeing a massive growing global market opportunity, and in fragrance alone, that's predicted to be $88 billion just this year. We're also seeing a massive personalised beauty market as customers no longer seek a one-size-fits-all approach, and that's predicted to be $144 billion by 2030. And lastly, we're seeing online sales continue to outpace in-store sales, and fragrance specifically, as a trend that we saw during COVID times, but which has continued as customers seek greater and greater convenience in their shopping. Our business model is currently made up of 4 different revenue streams across both B2C and B2B revenue. We're currently validating B2C revenue with our current MVP platform and matching and training our models on real-time customer data, but we see massive opportunity also in the B2B space by providing matches to customers both online and in-store to existing products and brands out there in the market. We also see big opportunity by driving customers to existing products in the online space using affiliate links to take a cut of each sale. We've got strong signs of customer love with our current MVP platform, and we're focusing on 2 key personas who both really value personalisation and an experience that's tailored to them. Firstly, we've got males who value convenience and never having to leave their homes and trying that experience right there from the comfort of their own home. And also females who value discovery of new products and looking for new options that are unique and curated to them.
We have early traction with our MVP platform, with 90% of our customers who finish the quiz actually say that it leads to find their next best scent. And based on early customer feedback, we've also been able to iterate and refine our models to increase accuracy. Ultimately, what we want to do with this matching technology is to be able to match to products in other product categories. We're the right team to disrupt the perfume industry. We're a unique combination of data-led marketing and deep AI experience. Madeline here is a data-led marketer, having worked at some of New Zealand's largest ad agencies, and I'm a senior data scientist with a PhD in statistics.
We're seeking $400,000 to achieve product market fit, and we already have a large chunk of that committed. This is a category that hasn't seen change for a long time. It's a category that's really ripe for disruption. We're seeing a huge growing global market opportunity. We've built an MVP that has unique and defensible IP, and we're a highly skilled team with deep domain expertise. I'm Madeline, this is Ankit, and we can't wait for you to join us in taking this experience to the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Katie. Women in leadership who are pregnant can often find themselves in situations where they can feel a certain amount of pressure or a pull to hide some of their experiences. Sometimes they feel like they need to be a little bit more like the women without children or seem a little bit more like the men, especially if they're in a leadership role. There can be a process where they start to feel like the part of their life that's motherhood needs to be hidden a little bit. And sometimes when that happens, that can have some negative knock-on effects for the woman and for her leadership and for herself in relation to her wider workplace community. The same research I was looking at showed that there is another pattern, and it's both of these happen. Both of these things do happen, that where women are empowered to embrace their experience of pregnancy and motherhood, where they're able to feel confident and connected with the aspect of their life that is motherhood, it actually leads to a stronger and more connected leadership style that has a really positive knock-on effect for those women, their workplaces, and their communities. And I was really excited to learn about this because as part of my research for Luni Maternity. 85% of working women will be pregnant at some point during their careers. And for ambitious professional women, they do face challenges in the workplace, as I'm sure many of you know. One of those challenges is maternity wear. It's a $21.6 billion industry globally, but 94% of the women that I talked to about their maternity wear experiences were overwhelmingly disappointed with everything about that market. They were frustrated, found things uncomfortable, the whole process was stressful. They're not happy with the fit, they're not happy with the style, they're not happy with how difficult it is to actually find things that meet their working wardrobe needs. It's not that there's nothing out there, it's just that across different business models and price points, it's all very samey. People say that it's as if the advertisers are selling clothes to one woman. One particular personality type is catered to and everybody else feels excluded. There's really very little that appeals to an ambitious, career-oriented, style-conscious woman who does not have time to spend all day scrolling to find the one thing that she needs. Luni Maternity will provide elegant maternity wear for professional women that empowers her to feel confident, capable, radiant, just knowing who she is as she goes out the door while she's pregnant to work. Now, the wonderful Madeline just before was wearing one of my dresses, and I hope that she was feeling confident and happy too, because that's what I want for my customers. And this is Alice in the picture. She is one of my early test customers. The sample collection that we have has been designed for pregnant bodies. It's been designed ergonomically, and it's been tested with real women wearing these clothes in their everyday lives and giving us important feedback about what is and isn't working. So not every style that I came up with has made it into the sample collection, because some things were not meeting the standards I want, which is for people to feel confident and comfortable in all of these things. Okay, so as well as the beautiful clothes, a really important part of our value proposition is a beautiful online shopping experience. So Luni is going to be a membership service, so women pay a monthly fee to have a capsule wardrobe that is 5 to 8 garments that gives them what they need throughout their pregnancy. When they come to our site, they'll answer a quick questionnaire. We'll suggest a capsule wardrobe to them. They can swap things out till they've got what they like. And basically, it's a few clicks, and what she needs in her shopping cart, she can add a few extra things as she needs, and then very soon something beautiful is going to arrive on her doorstep, and there's going to be a swap bag in there already for her to be able to change things as she needs. So elegance to me is really important, and it's a part of the way I think about our business model. We're using lensing textiles and RFID threads, which is a way of incorporating circularity in what we're doing, basically making really good use of the data that's available to continuously improve what we're doing. Our business model is based on the fact that a temporary body really needs a temporary solution. It's a membership model, and there'll be additional revenue streams from extra things that those women need. Right now, we're in a research stage that I've been talking about. Our next step is going to be creating that online MVP so that we can serve that first cohort of customers. And in the future, I really believe that what we have to offer is something that can benefit women globally. I have a graduate diploma in fashion design that I recently undertook specifically so that I could get this business off the ground. With $100,000, we'll be able to build our online MVP and get our first 50 customers. Thank you so much.
Kia ora tātou katoa. Sex should not be painful, yet almost a third of women will experience symptoms of discomfort or pain that affects intimacy at some point in their life. As a gynecologist, this is the reality that I see in my clinical practice every day. Chronic problems such as menopause, endometriosis, and skin disorders lead to pain with sex and a knock-on effect on self-esteem, emotional health, and personal relationships. The taboo around all aspects of sexual well-being mean that this topic isn't discussed in mainstream channels, and this leads to a disconnect between the very real problems that women face and the solutions and access to information and skin-friendly products. As experts in women's health, we've collaborated to address this problem. We've created Nubalm, an oil-based vaginal lubricant designed specifically for female genital skin. It contains just 3 natural New Zealand ingredients: beeswax, olive oil, and carnuka oil. So it's 100% hormone and chemical-free. Nubalm's pure formula will not compromise the genital pH or microbiome. Nubalm provides effective symptom relief and empowers women to take control of their intimate health and well-being. Right now, society is undergoing a transformative shift, with sexual wellness emerging as a hot topic and a fast-growing industry. Capitalizing on this, we're ready to take advantage of this opportunity and to launch our first innovation into the global sexual health market.
In the Australasian market alone, there are estimated to be 9.2 million sexually active women. If we think on a larger scale, the number of women we could reach globally is beyond 2 billion. Thanks to the improvements in healthcare, nutrition, lifestyles, the global population is experiencing unprecedented longevity. We're living longer, healthier, and much more sexually active lives. These changes provide the opportunity to tap into a rapidly expanding market and changing demographics. Nubalm will capture a substantial share of this market. Nubalm is the only female-focused, all-natural, hormone-free solution. Founded by experts in the medical field and differentiated by its unique formula, it was developed following extensive consumer research and trials. It meets the growing demand from consumers for clean, non-pharmaceutical products. Since our product launch just 3 months ago, we've achieved remarkable traction, which underscores immense market potential. With over 650 units sold since launch, we're already demonstrating strong consumer demand. And in our product testing, 100% of our consumers preferred Nubalm over our main market competitor. In our customer survey, 97% of respondents reported symptom relief and enhanced sexual pleasure when using Nubalm. 33% of our stockists are onto their 3rd order, showing repeat sales for our first quarter. Interest in our product from wholesale and distributor channels is high. These industry players have identified the huge potential of the women's health sector and are seeking to quickly increase their offering as this market expands.
Our business model provides for profit and scale. Here we have a solid foundation for maximizing profit margins across multiple channels: direct to customer, wholesale, and distributor. At our next round of production, we expect at least a 10% reduction in our costs. Our first 3 months of the New Zealand market have returned sales of over $12,000, and we've based our projections on these figures. By the end of 2023, we expect to see revenue from new wholesale and distributor agreements. Our potential export markets include Australia, USA, Canada, UK, and Japan. We plan to enter the Australian market in Q4 2023 and further export markets over the following 24 months. Highlighted on the graph, you can see where our export sales will begin. And that's not all. We have further opportunities to explore. Given the demand for our specialist resources, we are considering developing a monetized community, and we're looking at adding other products for the growing sexual health and natural beauty categories. Our team is dynamic and diverse, united by a shared vision to scale our business and become the go-to for sexual health. A visionary gynecologist, an expert physiotherapist, both at the cutting edge of female well-being, and a seasoned sales and marketing operator. Our team is well positioned to deliver solutions for women and profits for investors. Nubalm is just the start. We're asking for both support and investment. We would welcome advisory board members to support us in global expansion, and we're seeking a total investment of $200,000 at a valuation of $2 million. These funds will be instrumental in propelling our business to the next level, driving growth through export. We have samples here this afternoon, so don't be shy. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Let me ask you all a question. How secure do you think your applications are? How often do you test them? Once a year? Twice a year? But what if I tell you that even with these tests, your applications are still at risk? Before you get any more worried, let me introduce myself. I'm Ankita Dhakar, founder and CEO of Capture the Bug. Now don't worry, I'm not here to frighten you, but to offer you a solution to the problem I just highlighted. Now let's take a step back. Imagine for a moment you're Bob. Bob is the CISO of a successful fintech company. One day he receives an email that turns his world upside down. A critical bug in the app had been exploited, and millions of customer records were leaked. And this is not a scene from a dystopian future. This is a reality. In 2022, 76% of all data breaches started with a vulnerability in an application. This is the world we live in, but what if we could change it? Now you might think, well, we do pen tests. How often do you do this? Yearly? 2 times a year? And maybe if you have a big security budget, even 4 times a year. But is this real assurance that your system is bug-free? Are you confident that there is no bug in your application before the next pen test? The world of applications is dynamic, constantly evolving. And if you're making changes to your applications throughout the year, the chances are high that a bug might slip through, ready to be exploited before your next pen test is due. And this is the risk we cannot afford. And the status quo has some serious issues. 1, traditional pen testing is expensive. 2, there is no collaboration between the developers and the testing engagement. The results are delivered in PDFs. It is extremely slow, and it doesn't scale. Now, using a pen testing vendor starts with an outdated email and Excel scoping. You spend a minimum of $15,000 for a one-off pen test. That takes at least 2 weeks to start an engagement. Now, if your developers doesn't come from a security background, you will spend a lot of time understanding the report and patching the bugs reported by your vendor. The model is broken, but we are here to fix it. Introducing you all to Capture the Bug. We are a community-powered platform. With our platform, you can monitor your assets 24/7 by launching a vulnerability disclosure bug bounty program. And that's not all. With our AI-powered patch assistance, you can help fix your vulnerabilities quickly and efficiently. Our impact-driven model ensures that you only pay when an ethical hacker finds a bug in your application. We've built a community of 1,000 ethical hackers, bug bounty hunters, and penetration testers. It's like having 1,000 pair of eyes watching out for you. We've built this community organically over 6 months by delivering high-quality educational content, and we plan on using the similar strategies in the future to scale this number. Now let's talk about the opportunities. Cybersecurity market is booming. It is a $2 trillion industry. And our serviceable obtainable market of $960 million is in Asia Pacific, US, and India, which is just for penetration testing. Opportunities, however, are only as good as our ability to seize them. So the question is, Are we ready? Well, yes, we are. We've onboarded 5 customers from New Zealand, India, US, and Europe, and even got an expression of interest from New Zealand's largest supplier of wholesale foods and country's 3rd largest council. Our team has over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity, risk assessment, and business. But we can't do it alone. So we invite you all to this journey to invest and capture the bug and become a part of this revolution. Together, we can turn vulnerabilities into victories, risks into rewards, and bugs into breakthroughs. Thank you so much.
Did you know that 94% of children are not eating enough veggies? And adults aren't that much better at 90%. We are simply struggling to eat enough vegetables. Now, this is a global problem, and we're finding in our communities that we're seeing record levels of obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. We're relying on convenience food that lack nutrition. We're eating takeaways 1 to 3 times a week. That's 29% more than we did 10 years ago. We're losing confidence in the kitchen, and we're spending about half the amount of time that our parents did. With more demands from careers and running around after children, we're turning towards unhealthy convenience food. It's becoming everyday meals. Meat Vince. It's the healthy, easy, tasty way to eat more vegetables. Produced in Northland, made from New Zealand grown vegetables. It has no additives or preservatives. It's available in Italian, Kiwi, and Mexican, so all your family favourite mince dishes are covered. You can use Vince as a meat alternative, or you can add it to meat as a veggie booster. Because it's dried, it's got a long shelf life, and to prepare it, all you do is add water, which makes it perfect for exporting. Veggies are a powerhouse of nutrition. They are packed full of the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that we need. Vince is loaded with veggies, including cauliflower, which is a superfood used to make things from ice cream to pasta. Whole food innovation is an exciting space to be in, and it is part of the future. We've gained good traction since 2019, first appearing on the shelf in Faro in 2020 and then our local New World. We stood up our web store after field days, after receiving amazing feedback, selling out and people wanting to buy more. Last year, we went up against 180 New Zealand food and beverage businesses to take out the New World Food Starter Award. This has given us core ranging in 146 New Worlds. Our current facility isn't large enough, so we are using investment funds to build a larger premise to improve our production capabilities. We have applied for many awards and accelerators, and we have used these as a benchmark to gain valuable insights and feedback. Our sales strategy includes direct-to-consumer with a healthy 48% return rate against an industry standard of 28%. For our B2B, we've partnered with stock distribution to execute our national supermarket strategy. At scale, we will be entering food service, working on NPD, and getting on shelf and countdown. We've already shipped 2 pallets to Japan and received great feedback. Now, because Vince doesn't require refrigeration, there are less barriers to the export market. And as part of our global strategy, we're first looking at Australia, Southeast Asia, and Japan. Our supermarkets are full of overly processed packaged foods. There is space for healthy, convenient food like Vince to shine. The meal ready market has 913 billion in sales worldwide, 146 in our proposed export markets, and locally 141 million in New Zealand. I'm Debs, CEO and co-founder, along with my husband Nigel. We have run a catering and cafe business for 13 years with over $1 million in turnover and a team of 20 staff. We have carried through to this business our perseverance and energy to create another award-winning brand. I'm a trained chef and have become an expert in surface air dehydration and have strong skills in NPD and staff management. Nigel, a business analyst, loves strategy and execution. We make a great team. We drive each other for continuous improvement, and we complement each other's strengths. We're excited to be putting together our first board, including Cornelius, who created a large digital marketing company and has worked with the likes of Countdown Lotto and Air New Zealand. Sarah, a chartered accountant, is strong in governance, finance and risk management, and we're appointing a director strong in FMCG and export. We are also working with previously unavailable to develop and execute our go-to-market strategy. Today, we are looking to raise $130,000 to finish our pre-seed round. Join us in making healthy, convenience food more accessible.
Thanks, Marion. Hi, everyone. I'm Layla. I'm the CEO of Hale Animal Health. And I want to start off by telling you about my first baby, who was born with a tail. She was also furry, she was tan, black and white, and her name was Sassy. And when my husband and I moved to the UK, we of course took Sassy with us, and the three of us lived there together for 6 years. And in that time, Sassy started to get a bit older and feel some of the aches and pains that come along with old age. She also, unfortunately, developed a liver condition, so we were a bit limited in terms of what we could give her to help relieve her pain. And that's where we discovered a really big problem that exists in the animal health industry at the moment. And that is that the medicines we're giving to our pets are actually making them sick. So non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, also known as NSAIDs, are one of the most commonly prescribed medications for the treatment of pain in companion animals. But unfortunately, they come with really bad side effects. They can cause or worsen liver and kidney damage, and most commonly cause a whole range of digestive health issues. And that's where we get really excited about the potential for cannabis, because cannabis works in animals much the same way that it works in humans. There are currently no cannabis-derived registered veterinary medicines anywhere in the world. And the global veterinary pain management market was valued at $1.4 billion per annum in 2021, and that's expected to reach $2 billion by 2027. In terms of how that number drills down, if we were to look at New Zealand, Australia, and the US, which are key markets for us, we anticipate around $158 million in revenue per annum. Our product will initially be registered to treat pain in dogs that are suffering from osteoarthritis, but what's really important to know is that vets are able to prescribe off-label, which basically means that once we have a registered product, vets are able to use that product however they see fit. So that would be to treat pain of any kind, and also for things like stress and anxiety and skin disorders, for which there's a really growing body of evidence to show the use of cannabis to treat these types of ailments. In terms of progress and next steps, so far we've done a lot of work on our formulation development, looked at our freedom to operate and done some patentability searches and work. We've conducted a palatability trial. We ran a pilot pharmacokinetics study with Massey University, identified our contract research organisation partners, and developed our clinical trial strategy. So we're now ready to launch into the first of 3 clinical trials that will be needed to generate the data to support our registration as a veterinary medicine. In terms of protecting our IP position, we're taking a layered approach to this, starting off with a unique formulation we've developed from scratch, which is not easy to replicate. On top of that, we will get data protection via our registration, which is 10 years with the ACVM, which is the New Zealand Regulatory Authority, and also 10 years with the equivalent in Australia, and that is also 5 years with the FDA in the US. And basically what that means is that no other company is able to claim pharmaceutical or bioequivalence and reference the data that we've generated in our clinical trials in order to shorten their development pathway. On top of that, we'll also secure a patent. This is just a snapshot of some of the media appearances from the last couple of years, which is really just to show that there's a real growing interest in the use of cannabis to treat pets. We've assembled a really high caliber team with many years of collective experience in animal health. Most notably, Dr. Doug Cleverly, who's in an advisory role for us, and he also started a company called Argenta, which started off as a very small animal health company here in New Zealand and grew to be a very large global success. In terms of the offer, we're looking to raise 2.5 million, and we have already invested 500K. That investment has come from the owner and CEO of SVS Veterinary Supplies, which is New Zealand's largest distributor of veterinary medicines. So really thrilled to have that investor on board. As with him and the support of his team, it really nicely ties up our go-to-market strategy here in New Zealand. That's all from me. Thanks for your time.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Colour Me Safe. We are a tech platform called the Colour Allergy Tracker, and we have a patented packaging solution that sits in behind it. So I'd just like to know who here colours, tans, tattoos, or lathers their skin in the unknown. And if you didn't, I bet you know someone who does. Did you know that around 70% of the population uses hair and beauty treatments that can pose as a risk? Patch testing is a recommended practice to protect the person having the product applied, but it's not common practice here in New Zealand. But in the UK in 2013, it became a legal requirement to do this after extreme reactions occurred. Failing to patch test or provide evidence that a patch test has occurred is a big problem for your business. Yes, latest publications are stating that reactions are growing at an alarming rate, 38% for colour users alone. This slide shows you the current practice used today. In my 30 years of experience as an industry assessor, it burns in me that this is not enough. You, the customer, have to make 2 appointments for the one service. The first appointment is at least 48 hours before your main appointment. Yes, that's right. It's 2 appointments in the 1 week. This method is prepared at lib. It generally uses at least 200% too much product, and there's no easy record to record this. But here's our solution. It can be used at home for convenience. It's an accurate measure of the colour and developer, and that's in line with the manufacturer's instructions. It's easy to use. Just remove the clip, mix in the bag, and it's low mess and low waste. A recording software platform sits behind the packaging solution, and that's what we've called the Colour Allergy Tracker. Salons can easily implement the system implement our system by registering an easy 4-step guide. Customers can conveniently upload a photo to the tested area from anywhere, and salons can verify that the patch test has been completed, or have peace of mind that the Colour Me Safe team member will contact them if a customer has been red flagged. The valuable data collected from the test results can be used to generate additional income as the Colour Me Safe platform becomes a known entity, providing additional revenue opportunities. There's very little competition in our market. Our extensive research has found only 2, and from that, Colour Me Safe is more affordable than both. As it is prepared by your salon, it is the product that will be used on you. One other competitor uses a allergen that's only just one allergen to test for, but we know that there is 26 different allergens in hair dye alone. Colour Me Safe are using sustainable materials where we can. The UK is our starting point because, for one, it's a massive market, and the salon and customers are already on board. They know that they have to do it. We have a distributor at the ready, and they found us. But in the future, we'd like to see our solution used across the world in hair and beauty salons. We've been rolling it out in a salon in the UK, and in 3 months, they've used a total of 530 kits. So our business model includes 2 revenue streams. They're for kit sales in the light pink and then white for subscriptions to salons. And we have projected the conservative revenue figures starting at 5% for the first year and then growing to 15% within 3 years. These projections do not factor in additional sales or clip-ons that would increase the revenue. The data mining could provide valuable insight into the market and plan to utilise that in our long-term growth strategies. Our team. Rahana has been on board for 2 years now, and she has a background in science and a master's degree in product design, and she used this very problem for her thesis. Zach, he's our industrial product designer, and he is focused on the packaging. Anna is an experienced hairdresser with a background in teaching and has taken on the role of guiding salons through this new system. With the funding, we plan to engage overseas manufacturing. We want to work with the UK insurance systems, and we want to create a space for production, develop a long-term growth strategy, and build a strong distribution network. Claims are already emerging in Australia due to this issue, and change is already here. Colour me safe, your skin's best friend. That's us.
In 2021, the United Nations released a paper that was called Making Peace with Nature, a scientific blueprint to tackle the climate, biodiversity, and pollution emergencies. And this was the first time that I had seen chemical pollution elevated to the same platform as biodiversity loss and climate change. This triple planetary crisis flows down to businesses and to all the people involved in chemical use. And in 2020, a paper was published in the US called Who Pays, that talked about that question of pollution liability. But that's not a surprise, because we tend to think of the US as a litigious society. What I did find surprising was this year, I'm not going to try and use the laser printer, this year Chapman Tripp released their legal opinion looking at the emerging responsibilities of company directors to manage the environmental effects of their business. Last month, the Australian Commonwealth Government was forced to settle a class action lawsuit into land contamination. And this month, actually just last week, the EU Parliament voted to ensure that all EU companies, company directors, identify, prevent, and mitigate adverse environmental effects along their entire supply chains. So what we're seeing is that companies and the people behind them are being found increasingly responsible for chemical pollution. And this brings me to a really great little anecdote that I heard recently. So back in the early 1990s, the then chief executive of Block & Quayle was asked, if you think like a New Zealand Mitre 10, so he was asked where their timber products come from. And he said, well, I don't know. And apparently the journalist asking the question said, if you don't know, you don't care. And that led to B&Q becoming one of the founding members of the Forest Stewardship Council, and it triggered an increase or an improvement of traceability and transparency across our whole global timber supply chains. So now we can think of chemicals as the new timber. Not enough is known about the products and substances that are being used in manufacturing and in agriculture. So if you think of yourself as being on the board of a company that manufactures, sells, or uses chemicals of any kind, how do you know where your big risks are? How do you know which of these chemicals are actually harmful to human health or harmful to the environment? And how do you know which products people care about? And if you don't know, you don't care. Now, back in 2018, the New South Wales EPA, the chemical regulator for New South Wales, paid me to tell them what they should care about. My name's Kate, and I have a background in chemical management, and I built them a tool in Excel that ranked and prioritised chemicals according to their priority of concern, and it also flagged to them which chemicals might have new information coming online that showed they were actually more harmful to human health or more harmful to the environment than previously thought. Somebody introduced me to Richard, who's here in the audience today, and he became my co-founder. Richard, He has the background in development, so I don't have any development experience. That's all Richard. And he'd also actually been in a couple of other startups. So he knew the ride that we were about to be on. And by 2020, HazEL had been born. So it's time to introduce HazEL. It's an online hosted platform that provides a single point of entry for navigating the huge amount of chemical information that's available worldwide. I have a minute left, so if you want to talk to me about how HazEL works, I'm going to tell you after the session. We have some really great early traction from some good household names, and you'll see some familiar startups there as well. We're getting really good feedback from our early adopters. What we have decided to do is take the slow clap walk, apparently, and focus just into one customer segment, into the wine industry. And I'm going to tell you all in the break about why we've decided to do that. Because I want to get to my last slide, the team. We come from a really diverse range of backgrounds, really supportive. We already have a great board in place, and we're currently looking to raise $1.1 million to help us scale internationally, but actually it is all about the people. So we want to grow. Thank you so much.
Kia ora, I'm Kitty, co-founder of Mother Trucking, and today I am here to ask you for connections and resources in order to help us grow. But first, let me tell you a story about Uncle Steve. This is Uncle Steve. He's a family man. He has a family-run company that started out with just him as a driver-operator. He loves Lego and taking his friends' dogs out for ice cream. Now, Steve has grown his fleet into the largest heavy haulage fleet in Nelson. He has over 25 trucks and cranes. He has 30 employees, and they're completing around 3,000 jobs a year. However, he hasn't found a software solution that meets his requirements. So he's still doing most of his processes manually. Now, this is exposing him to inefficiency, double bookings, disputes, and fines. And for a company Steve's size, you're looking about $200,000 a year in fines. So, how did we help? Introducing Mother Trucking, the transport management system for truckers. We have created an office portal for administration and management staff. It's a desktop application to help with the day-to-day running of their business. We have also created a companion drivers application so the drivers can keep everybody in the office up to date on the jobs they're executing. This has resulted in savings for Steve, reducing the fines that he's getting. It's increased productivity of the company, and it's created a lot of user satisfaction. But why is user satisfaction so important? Well, up until now, Steve's only had access to systems that look like this, or this, or this. An absolute nightmare for someone like Steve, and he's resorted to keeping with whiteboards and pen and paper. But how can we create Steve's problem or turn it into a viable and scalable business? 92% of all of New Zealand's freight is transported by road. 80% of those companies are SMEs with less than 25 vehicles. And with a SaaS platform subscription of $100 a month per user, that's around $41 million in subscriptions in New Zealand alone. But how about America? Because everybody wants to know about America. Well, they also have 80% of their fleets as SMEs. Their size is a bit larger, around 50 vehicles, and you're looking at $4.2 billion a year in subscriptions there. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry globally. So how are we going to acquire the maximum amount of clients? Well, Uncle Steve always says that trust is the true currency of SMEs. And I was born into the trucking industry. I have a vested interest in seeing these small and medium companies succeeding. I have also set up small and medium-sized companies internationally. My co-founder, Jason, is the world's only UX MVP, which is user experience MVP, for the largest low-code platform in the world, so we can ensure that Steve likes to use his product. We have collated one of the top 2 developers in the world for our low-code platform, Mendex, and they have worked with some of the largest logistics companies in the world, including PostNL, Koninagel, and Vattenfall. Our traction has been rapid. We started our build in March, and this month we went live with our MVP. We are looking to get 250 users by the end of the year. But this isn't all. Something that surprised us on our journey was the interconnected relationship between all of the SMEs in this industry. There is no software that is overarching and helping them communicate together, and a lot of things go missing. So our vision is to help create a transport ecosystem to help all these companies integrate together. So if you want to come with us on this mother trucking journey, we're looking for fleet owners to help us validate our ideas further. We're looking for advisors. We're looking for contacts within the transport industry to help discover the overarching pain points in these different company silos. And we're also looking for contacts in the government so we can aid them in creating carbon neutral cities. Thank you very much.
Kia ora everyone, my name is Nicole Garberia and I envision a future where every woman feels confident and unstoppable when moving her body. That's why I'm on a mission to empower plus-size women around the world to redefine their relationship with movement through premium activewear and a community where they feel seen, heard and celebrated, no matter their shape or size. As a yoga teacher, I firsthand know the struggle of finding comfortable and functional activewear. When I was in my biggest body, I taught a class in a popular activewear brand store. Afterwards, they offered me some leggings in exchange for my time, went into the changing room, nothing fit. In fact, the retail staff were throwing leggings over the door to me asking, "Oh honey, does that fit? Can you squeeze into that one?" It was totally humiliating and it was a catalyst to change. It revealed to me that curvy women like me were left underserved by the activewear market. As a therapist today, I hear these frustrations mirrored by my clients. And it's not just me, it's not just my clients, it's a global issue. There is 1.56 billion women in the world who wear over a dress size New Zealand 14. That's considered to be plus size, and the current value of the global activewear market is $425 billion. So doesn't it blow your mind that only 8% of brands offer a curve range? There's a significant untapped opportunity for brands to cater to the curve community, and yet they're falling short. So I've got a solution. Introducing Lulah Collective, an exclusively plus-size activewear brand committed to promoting body positivity and inclusivity. Our Luxe collection, pictured here, has been meticulously designed to meet the unique needs of plus-size bodies. Available on up to sizes 30, we're proud to offer the widest curve activewear range in New Zealand. Our dedication to the curve community is evident through our remarkable customer feedback. We have a 4.85 star customer rating and an impressive 1% return rate, but we're only just getting started. So, I launched on the 20th of Feb this year with a 500-piece collection and sold out in 6 weeks. I then designed a new SKU, some biker shorts, and I had 150 pre-orders before they arrived in New Zealand. I've garnered significant media recognition, including being named in Refinery 29's top plus-size activewear list, and I have an upcoming feature in the UK Fashion Council's Innovative Fashion Report. So, I know, activewear, it's a highly competitive market, but Lulah Co is able to stand apart from our competitors. Global activewear brands, like the ones that you see here, continue to have inconsistencies in their product quality. And yes, many brands are responding to customer design to expand their size range, and I absolutely love that for our curvy gals. However, these brands continue to use standardized garment grading, which leads to ill fit in their biggest sizes. The issue remains, the queer community is not their focus, and they continue to be underserved. At Lulah Co, we distinguish ourselves because we've perfected our pieces just for our gals. So, in just a short time, we've achieved $30,000 in revenue from our B2C e-commerce platform. I have a solid profit margin of 45%, and now that the collection's been validated, I'm ready to set my sights on scaling. There we go. So, my goal is to establish Lulah Co as the top plus-size activewear globally. To achieve this, my next steps are to make key hires to support scaling efforts. I'm going to enhance our competitive edge by diversifying our product range and building additional distribution channels. We currently have an invitation to join 2 of the top size plus size markets in Australia, and I'm launching on Amazon Australia later this month. Let's talk about investment. So I'm seeking $500,000 in capital to support my scaling goals, as well as partnership with mentors who are excited to walk alongside us. By investing in Lulah Co, you'll receive so much more than financial returns. You're going to be part of a significant social impact. Let's create a future where every woman feels confident and unstoppable when moving her body. If you're interested in joining me, or you know somebody who might love my journey, my mahi, then let's get in touch, let's chat. Thank you.
Incredible.
Yo.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Sarah Brown tōku ingoa.
Talofa lava o lo ingo o Mateo Whawhetei ma le ko Brown.
Together we are the founders of the global movement, campaign and grassroots kaupapa, She Is Not Your Rehab.
She Is Not Your Rehab came as a response from my own childhood experience of domestic violence and sexual abuse. My father, the perpetrator of violence in our home, was in and out of prison. And as a child, I often wished that someone would help him so that things could change for our family. Sadly, no one did and nothing ever changed. And in the neighborhood I came from, my story was not unique. I decided as an adult survivor to use my own lived experience of healing from intergenerational trauma as an example for other men who suffered like I did, but who wanted to break cycles and access their right to healing.
At the heart of our work centres an invitation that while your childhood trauma was not your fault, your healing now is your responsibility. This past decade, as we have been working extensively with men all over Aotearoa, we have discovered that men's mental health collectively is far from good. Men do want to heal, but unless court mandated into programs, there are very few options to support him and absolutely nothing available for free online. The domestic violence statistics are only symptoms of a much deeper pain because only over 92% of men who perpetrate violence were once victims of it themselves. Our approach is simple. Support men to truly heal and the violence stops. In 2019, Matt gave a TED talk that sparked global interest. Our message had impact beyond just our community. Our She Is Not Your Rehab t-shirts were worn all over the world, including by celebrities like The Rock. And our social media following grew rapidly as our campaigns went viral. We were inundated with requests from men everywhere, countless wanting to heal but not knowing how. Our mission was to make the tools of healing free and accessible. We wrote a #1 best-selling book that we gifted to every person incarcerated in New Zealand, and we're about to launch next week a men's mental health app called Inner Boy that is completely free for the user. This digital tool is simple, devoid of psychobabble, and offers daily achievable ways to change your world.
We have taken an innovative approach with everything we have done, utilizing the power of sharing stories in creative ways that resonates with men, and normalizing the behavior change that we want to see. Our art exhibition we curated last year asked the question, if she is not your rehab, bro, then who is she? Over 3,000 men worldwide responded with the word for the woman in their life. Submissions included the words tapu, home, poetry, and love. We selected 100 of these words and asked a famous Māori graffiti artist named Mr. G to paint them over the top of our logo. This collection of 100 canvases hangs in our Christchurch Central Gallery, which we opened last year on White Ribbon Day, and is also available to view virtually online. Next year, we have been invited to tour the exhibition in America from White Ribbon USA. Our message is spreading whānau, and we hope to normalise the affirmation of women of wahine everywhere.
All of our work to date has mostly been self-funded initiatives or where we have received project grants from government departments like the Ministry of Social Development. To grow our work, our team, and the availability of offering more tools, programs, books, and training in communities everywhere, we have decided that we need your help. Partnerships with individuals and corporates who are in our corner as we set out to revolutionise a sector that is grossly underfunded and hugely under-resourced. If all of what we've done so far on the smell of an oily rag is any kind of indicator, imagine what we could achieve if we had adequate funding.
So why should you even bother? The reality is you already are, because this problem already cost you. Research shows that the cost to New Zealand taxpayers this past decade has already been well over $80 billion. That cost comes from our health system, education, policing, incarceration, refuge, and legal services. The list goes on. This is not something to ignore because the cost is growing exponentially, and it costs us all.
So how can you partner? We have made it super simple by creating a limited edition art print collection from our Who Is She exhibition. This is our creative way in raising the $3.6 million that we need to continue the development of our app, get more books into prisons internationally, write the second book, and take our message further than ever before. For 365 days, $365, which works out to be only $1 a day for a year, you will not only partner with us and invest into this vital work, but you'll receive a beautiful gift from us in gratitude. A limited edition print from our collection. These premium collector's items are hand-numbered. Once they're gone, they'll never be produced again. Not only is our goal to raise the capital, but also to spread the message and the kōrero behind these art pieces, because she is not your rehab.
She is priceless. She is equal. She is courage. She is hers. She is greatness, she is powerful, she is hope, she is revolution.
Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā kātou katoa, kia ora.
Okay, 90% of commercial toddler foods in New Zealand and Australia fail to meet the nutrition recommendations set by the World Health Organization. That's 9 out of 10 products sitting on our supermarket shelves that fail to nourish our most precious people. We have a high number of tamariki that are suffering the consequences of poor diets and a food system that is failing them. Sitting on the shoulders of our next generation is a host of non-communicable diseases, which sets the stage for lifelong health impacts. The economic burden from diet-related disease on our economy is $2 billion per year. This is a global social crisis. I would like to introduce you to Norish, a category-changing baby food that is disrupting the industry in the most positive way possible. In the 16 years that I have been a mother, the only innovative change the baby food industry has seen has been in the packaging and not the food itself. As a nurse and a clinical nutritionist, I knew we could and should do more for our most vulnerable population. We have utilised freeze-dried technology to lock in the nutrients of some of the most nutritious foods on the planet. The recipes are unique and innovative. Think bone broth, liver, quinoa, and kelp. The lightweight and shelf-stable nature of the products also make them a sustainable and scalable product that allows us to fly the New Zealand flag in export markets. We launched 1 year ago via e-commerce and have released 8 SKUs to the market. The purees are in a single-serve powder, single-serve consistency. You mix with water and it reconstitutes into a whole food form. The cans are designed to increase the nutrient density of children's food, which takes the lifespan of our products from starting solids right through to teenagers. Typical baby cereal is made up of nutrient-devoid rice, inflammatory oils, and synthetic vitamins that are poorly absorbed and often causing gastrointestinal upsets in infants. I have developed the first-to-market rice cereal alternative, utilising the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. With over half the purees in our supermarkets containing 4 teaspoons of sugar per serve, we are proud to be the leading change the industry so desperately needs. For the first time, we are seeing nutrition, convenience, and an educational brand in the market that parents turn to for trust and transparency. Norish is the only premium baby food with the ability to scale. The global market currently sitting at $82 billion and is expected to rise to $148 billion by 2031. This market rise is mostly attributed to the increasing number of women entering back into the workforce in the postpartum period. 8 products have been released with over 400K of online sales. Our successful e-commerce business stems from an engaging and interactive online community of over 14,000, with a return customer rate of over 52%. We are sitting proudly on the shelves of 20 independent Whole Food stores, and we are preparing to launch into Foodstuffs North Island. 6 further products are prepared to launch in Q3 this year. Our plans to expand growth internationally with a launch into Australia this year and fast to follow Japan 24. Asia accounts for 89% of baby food sales. My name is Gina Ehrlich. I'm a leading clinical nutritionist with an online community of over 40,000. I'm a mum to 4 delicious humans and the founder and CEO of Norish. I work alongside an amazing team, including Atma, our operations manager, and Brooke Hare, our virtual CFO and executive governance. We also have an impressive advisory board, including Sarah Sheriff. Our first year of trading has seen us bring in 400K of revenue with month-on-month growth. We have achieved a 28% growth increase in the first months of financial year 24. We also won the Children's Health category for the Best of Natural Awards.
So we're currently circulating our IM as we enter a capital raise. This is a priced raise and we're seeking a minimum funding target of 500,000 and we welcome investment of up to $1 million. We currently have a pre-money valuation of $4 million. Our new growth capital is to fund our market growth strategies centred on continuing to grow our e-commerce with a play in premium wholesale. And of course, our international growth with key initial markets of focus being Australia, Japan and the US. By close of FY26, we are forecasting gross sales revenue of 9.6 million and an EBITDA of 3.2 million. Our focus is ensuring our EBITDA is doubling year on year in our early years with our key end goal focus of delivering a premium EBITDA multiple back to our investors. We welcome you on this journey to take Norish to the world.
Kia ora. We're Scores for All, and we're bringing the gold standard of credit risk assessment to everyone. What is that gold standard? It's the use of scoring and scorecards in credit risk assessment. At this point, you may be wondering, what is a scorecard? Imagine you're a kid and you're trying to work out whether to lend your toy to your friend. What you're really trying to do is work out whether that friend is going to give your toy back to you. And that's exactly what a scorecard does. A scorecard calculates a score, and that score estimates the likelihood that a consumer will honour their repayment obligations to you. Lenders use credit risk scorecards to quantify and mitigate risk. Globally, there are 1.7 billion underbanked individuals, adults really, and many of whom are in the developing world. This means that they have extremely limited access to mainstream financial services, and this is because lenders do not know how to assess credit risk where individuals don't have a record at the Bureau. Scorecards aren't new. They've been around for decades. So what exactly is the problem? Scorecard projects have many moving parts. Traditionally, it takes several years of historical data to build a scorecard. Aside from the requisite data, you're also managing external vendors or internal data science teams, IT, procurement, ops, and you need to deliver reporting and monitoring. Once all is said and done, implementing new scorecards is expensive and time-consuming. Many lenders do not have the resources to justify the return on investment or begrudge every cent. Ava and I have felt our customers' pain and we've built a solution. We're a B2B product. We use AI and machine learning techniques in our data input and modelling pipeline. We leverage our understanding of consumer credit behaviour and we use our deep technical knowledge and expertise. Our models can be switched on and used from day one. We are the only company globally to offer this service. We continuously train and deploy models, ensuring that they adapt to each customer's portfolio. We deliver real-time dashboards showing key scoring metrics. The impact of scoring becomes apparent. Customers see a lift in profitability. We have an ROI calculator available on our website where potential customers can see what break-even looks like for them. All our competitors require historical data. We don't. Most scorecards are difficult to implement. Ours aren't. We can develop and own this market. I'm Carolyn, our CEO, and this is Ava, my co-founder, our COO. Ava and I met back in 2002, where we both worked at Pick Solutions. Between us, we have over 50 years of credit risk analytical and scorecard development experience. We've delivered over 500 projects across more than 30 countries. We've worked across multiple industries, including banking, consumer finance, SMEs, retail finance, insurance, and telcos. We've worked across all product verticals, such as loans, cards, mortgages, and vehicle finance. Ava has delivered thousands of scorecard projects, and last year I published It's a Risky Business, which is a field guide to retail consumer credit risk analytics. We operate in the $7.8 trillion global consumer credit risk market. These are lenders. These are our potential customers. Some of these lenders use scorecards, and many of them assess credit risk using bureau scorecards. This only works when consumers have a credit footprint. For those who don't have a credit footprint, those are the underbanked. Those are the people they can't assess. We'll launch in Australia and New Zealand with early adopters validating our product market fit for current and new products. Whilst our customer acquisition approach is product first, we envisage higher touch points initially before expanding globally. The highest growth markets are in developing countries, including those in sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America. These markets are estimated to grow at 10 to 15% over the next decade. We'll tap into the relationships that we have developed over the past 25 years to help with this. We forecast our revenues growing year on year, driven by our pricing model, which is a low monthly fee plus a per unit fee. We're launching new products into the market every 6 months. We have developed our initial scorecards. We have developed our MVP data input and modeling pipeline. We're in talks with 3 proof of concept customers. Basically, we're ready to rock and roll as soon as someone signs on the dotted line. We're looking for between $350,000 and $500,000. We're looking for lenders. And funding will be primarily used for product development and delivery. Thank you so much.
Our waste problem is overwhelming. And when a third of that is single-use plastic packaging, it's no great surprise that this is in the firing line. I think we're coming to an understanding that we can't recycle our way out of this pickle, and industry experts agree that reuse is the way forward, but deploying reuse systems is really tricky at scale. How do you drive people to bring back containers, and how do you deliver these systems in a way that is commercially viable? Tēnā koutou katoa, ko ngā pionta kahu. I am a founder and the CEO of Again Again. Again Again uses technology to power and manage the circular journey of these new reusable packaging assets. We are positioned to help the industry win in the future of retail packaging. Regulation is happening right now. In the UK, extended producer responsibility schemes will as much as double the cost of single-use packaging from the 1st of January next year. Already there are bans and mandates that are in place that are causing the behaviour change that we're looking for. Now, all of that is really exciting stuff if you're the planet, but for businesses, that's creating some pretty gnarly, complex problems. What we're seeing in response to this is that there's a proliferation of reuse systems in these regulated geographies that are really taking off. But all of these systems are falling short of meeting the criteria for scalability. They fall into one of 2 categories. Either they utilise a deposit return mechanism, and this is a no-margin hassle for retailers, especially once it multiplies, or they're using technology which necessitates end users to download an app, and that too is a hurdle for uptake. These proprietary systems do not serve the brand needs of the enterprise producers, and in all cases, the workflow that is being asked of all of the actors is additional to the workflow of the simple purchase. There are 2 things which need to be achieved in order to truly be able to scale. One is commercial viability. It has to be a reasonable investment for producers to make, and the bar is set at the cost of single-use packaging. The other is ease of adoption and ease of continued use. Enter Again Again. Again Again is the glue. We connect all of the actors in the equation, and By connecting to them financially, we hold them accountable for their part of the cycle of the packaging. This makes it viable to scale a B to B to C and back again reusable system. If we look back at those two key points that I raised, commercial viability really comes down to managing as small as possible fleet and not losing it. Deposit return mechanisms evidence about a 70 to 75% return rate, which means that 1 in 4 of those containers goes missing. Our technology platform has evidenced a 98% return rate, and this is the key lever that manages the size of the investment into that new asset pool and also manages the ongoing costs from lost containers. On the other side, the ease of use really comes down to not having to have an app. And so we have utilised a card mechanism. Consumers can have a card, either digital or physical, that gives them access, a bit like a library card, to the new containers that will come in the future. This gives producers the opportunity to invest in a reusable asset pool that allows them to keep control of their brand experience. For retailers and for consumers, that ease of use is the most important thing, and that card mechanism plays into that. Cities, corporate precincts, and vertical retailers are the key groups that will be able to utilise this technology. And the winners in this new context will be those who can create a system that doesn't pass on costs to consumers and therefore protects their market share. We're seeing great traction in New Zealand, primarily, however, driven by councils, the government and industry players, and a few key customers who have a future view. But as is the case here and around the world, the consumer uptake is slow, which is why we need to get to Europe. Our goal for this accelerator was to pivot our business to that market, and to that end, we're asking today for your support with warm introductions to enterprise producers, retailers, and packaging industry. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa.
Is this a familiar sight for anyone? Does it make you excited to look after your teeth? And what do you do with that manky old toothpaste tube once you're done with it? Well, it has to go to landfill, along with everyone else's, to the tune of 1.5 billion tubes every year. Now, in other markets, sustainability has become a non-negotiable, but the oral care market is lagging behind. You go to the supermarket and you have a choice between this unrecyclable plastic tube or that unrecyclable plastic tube. But we are starting to see slow change. So, for example, this morning I went down to our local New World, and for the first time I saw toothpaste tablets on the shelf, and I saw mouthwash powder. Has anyone here tried toothpaste tablets? Wow, that's way more hands than the last time I asked this. And we're also seeing an increase in premium products. So basically seeing oral care as more of a beauty product rather than a sort of, old bit of thing you use to clean the bathroom. So Aussie brand High Smile have done really well in this regard. They are now worth 300 million, and they are not a sustainable brand, however. So picture this. You, probably most of you, are using a typical tube of fluoride toothpaste that you got at the supermarket. But you're starting to make some changes in your life. You are biking to work, you are composting, and you're using a shampoo bar. And you go to switch out something for that plastic tube on your bench. And you might go to your local eco store and you see this nice toothpaste and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. Glass jar, I can reuse that. And you look at the ingredients and it doesn't contain fluoride. But your dental hygienist has told you that you need to use a toothpaste with fluoride. And that dental hygienist might have been me. So my name is Laura and I am an oral health therapist. So while I was working in dental, I used to get so frustrated by the amount of waste that we would create on a daily basis, as well as everything I would recommend to my patients was plastic packaged in more plastic. So I became an oral care formulator, as you do in that situation, and started Solid. So we now have a complete oral care range, including toothpaste tablets, toothpaste in a jar, toothpaste powder, as well as a whole range of oral care accessories. We also launched our New Zealand's first zero waste whitening kit about 2 days ago, and that has been very cool. So we offer our products in a range of flavours, not just mint, like cinnamon, orange, lemon, and strawberry, which gets the kids on board. So our vision is a world where we all take responsibility for what we produce and consume. So this does mean we do things a bit differently. We accept back all our jars for sterilising and refilling. We have a range of in-store refill options around Aotearoa, including the world's first toothpaste dispensing machine. And I really would have loved to bring it with me, but it wouldn't fit in the carry-on, so sorry. And this means, together with our customers, we have saved more than 50,000 toothpaste tubes from landfill. So how do we get our toothpaste out there? At the moment, we're about 60 to 70% online, with the rest in around 80 retailers across New Zealand. So this year, alongside Adam, my co-founder, he's over there. Wave your hand, Adam. We have made a push to get into some of these larger and multi-chain retailers, as well as just steadily keep growing our online sales, which is my job. So who are we? I have talked about myself enough. You've already met Adam by his waving hand. So he is basically, toothpaste sales, networking, PR. You may have already talked to him tonight, wouldn't surprise me, as well as these things that he wanted you to know as well. So our manufacturing team are Porirua locals. We manufacture all our products in-house, and we are a values-based business. So every decision we make is inspired by one or more of these values. So if you'd asked me 3 years ago if you could love toothpaste, I would have said no, that's ridiculous. However, since starting Solid, we have customers on not a daily basis, but a weekly basis, say that they love our toothpaste. It makes them feel like they're making a difference, and it turns looking after their teeth from a chore into a ritual. So where are we now? We've increased our revenue 200% from May last year. And what's next? We are looking to go into New Zealand supermarkets, have just started that process, as well as exporting to Australia, Melbourne or Sydney. So our ask is for 300,000 and any e-commerce and FMCG export advice and support. Let's change the way we look after our teeth. Yes, I made it.
Hi, I'm Carly from OneReg, and at OneReg, we love compliance and regulations. I'm not joking, we do. And I'm determined in the next 5 minutes to get you all as excited as I am. But first, I want you to meet someone. This is Nicole. I'm not sure she'll be happy that she's this big on screen, but Nicole is the CEO of Rotorua Airport. And as CEO, it's her job to ensure that the airport is compliant, the public is safe, and her staff are safe. The book stops here. So Nicole wants to know that all parts of her organisation are compliant, so she can sleep easy at night. Now, traditionally, this has been broken down, processes separated, individual software purchased, folders full of paperwork, clipboards at the ready. Imagine having to be certain that all of this is compliant. Imagine an auditor coming and saying, prove this is compliant. This is a mammoth task. It's confusing, it's expensive, and it's inefficient. Now, Nicole knew she had a problem, so she signed up to the OneReg way of doing things. You see, in our platform, you only need one solution, our solution, for all your software needs. You can bring together any amount of data, forms, processes into one place. And what's more, you can connect directly to the regulations and the regulator. Nicole has described our platform as life-changing for them in terms of the efficiencies gained and the insights that they now have. Imagine your compliance process going from 103 hours down to 3 hours in our system. But it's not just for Nicole. For Kevin, who monitors the wildlife on the runways, he has put down his clipboard, and he can now see through our platform that his bird strike mitigations are working when it's sunny, but not when it's rainy. And for Jane, the safety manager, that slip hazard that's been keeping her up at night, her risk register is now telling her that it's not happening as often as she thought. But we didn't stop here. You see, our platform is multi-tenanted, which means it's built for any number of agencies outside of your organization. So policymakers, insurers, anybody else can interconnect their data and get the benefits of interconnected insights and bringing their processes together. You may be wondering why, well, that is really big. You may be wondering, why do I care about this problem? Well, for the last decade, I've been working in environmental regulation, and I've seen and I have felt firsthand the pain of how disconnected we all are. You see, our interconnection is just the beginning. Imagine a regulator having real-time data that shows where to spend, what to change. Is their regulation actually working on the ground? Imagine an airport having information that tells them that today there's a heightened risk of an accident in the terminal, and knowing which mitigations are going to reduce those risks. Predictive risks, preemptive mitigations, that's where we're going and why it's so important to me. So, we started in the aviation industry, where there are 42,000 airports globally, but we know that this problem exists in all other paper-heavy regulated industries, and we've already got interest from environmental and maritime. You see, for us, we simply change the content of the platform. We don't need to change the coding. And with nobody else providing a single source solution like us, the sky is truly the limit. So let me introduce you to the rest of the flight crew, who are just as passionate as I am. And together with our board, we have over 100 years in aviation experience. So where are we now? Well, having launched a market over 12 months ago with just a single airport, we now have over a third of airports in New Zealand signed up, paying for and using our solution, along with drone operators, helicopter operators, and logistics. You see, we've gained explosive traction, predominantly through word-of-mouth referrals in an industry that is primed for change. We also have an MOU with the CAA, who have approved our platform for parts of the certification process. So where are we going next? We've now set our flight path to Australia, Singapore, and beyond. And as we take off into these new countries, we're actually looking for trailblazers to come on board our capital raise, which will be taken off later this year. So our capital raise, I should say, will be making for the smooth transition and landing into Singapore and Australia. I'm trying to get in as many puns as possible. I know Marion likes them. And let me close by asking you, don't you think this sounds exciting? And would you like to come on board?